Claire's not thinking about you. Claire doesn't even probably remember who you are. Meanwhile, you're all up her butt. You have no character. Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad you're watching. Today, I am going through my questions that I have about the iconic show Lost. I recently did a rewatch, and I am just confused. I'm in a constant state of confusion for about 2 weeks now, and I need these questions answered. If you don't know what Lost is, it's a show that aired between 2004 and 2010. It's a group of people who are on Oceanic Flight 815 from Australia to America. Their plane crashes. They land on an island. Obviously, some of them live, some of them die. They're there for about 3 months and things happen. The show is full of serendipity. It's full of the butterfly effect. There's murder. There's the others. There's magic at some point. And I just have questions. I don't know where I went wrong in my watching because I have a lot of questions. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but hence this video. So this may turn into a bit of a rant. I'm not sure. I am angry about certain characters, but we'll see once their questions come up. Before we get started, make sure to leave a like on this video if you're into Lost, or if you like this video, leave me a comment on what you think I should watch next. And if you have any answers to these questions, make sure to tell me in the comments so that way I won't just go crazy for the next couple weeks, or until it's out of my mind. And let's jump into it. Question 1. Now I will start with one, but I'm not going to number all of them because I'm not counting. But number 1 is, what or how was there a polar bear on the island? Where did that come from? Why was that never explored, or did I just miss it? I'm not sure. Now, that was in season 1 or 2. I can't remember. There was a random polar bear running through the woods like it was a wild boar, and James, Sawyer, James ends up shooting the polar bear, and I want to say it got brought up in maybe a few more scenes after that, and then it was just over. Where did that polar bear come from? Anyway, number 2, was John Locke, by the way, best character, was John Locke correct when he said that everyone was brought to the island for a reason? Because why did the plane crash? We see Jacob, who is like the god of the island. We see Jacob going back and visiting people before they got to the island. He goes to see John when his dad pushed him out of the building. He sees Sawyer like right after his parents' funeral, and others I can't remember. But he sees them. Richard ends up coming to see some people as well. Obviously, he brought Juliet to the island. So was this all strategic to get them all in the same place and then crash the island? Did they become candidates once they were on the island, or were they sought after because they were candidates? I don't know. Someone needs to tell me. Did the plane just crash because it crashed? Like, oh well, things happen. Or was it all this elaborate plan? I don't know. And if you know the ending of the show, which, spoiler alert, this came out 10 years ago, they're all dead. How did they die? I guess we're getting into questions 4, 5, and 6. How did they die? Did they die once the plane crashed? Okay, everyone's dead, because then there's that alternate reality. Or did they land on the island and then subsequently die? Because some of the people that were in the church at the end, we saw them die. We know Boone, we know how he died. We know how Jen and Son died. We know how Saeed died. We saw Jack die in the final scenes. I think Michael was there. We know how Michael died. Who else was there that I know who died? I'm guessing that Hugo and Ben died because the island collapsed or something happened. We see Sawyer, Claire, and Kate and Lapidus get on the plane at the very end. Maybe their plane crashed again. So were all these people dead the entire time? Or did they die in the way they died on the show, and then they were all happen to come together in this fake reality? I don't know. I'm rambling because it's literally so confusing to me that I can't even think of when they would have died. I don't like that ending. I don't know how that happened. Okay. which I guess none of it matters if they were dead, but I shouldn't have started with that question. Oh well. Next question. Why did the others convince Michael to kill, it was Ana Lucia and Libby? I know he wasn't supposed to kill them specifically. I think he was trying to kill someone else. But was that just Benjamin Linus and his people being petty and say, hey, you took one of ours, go kill them, and then you can get your son back? Or did they know that they were candidates for some reason and they wanted them dead and out of it because the smoke monster told him to? He was pretending to be Jacob and he told him to. Why did he have to kill anybody? I know that he was a trash character. Let's just get that out of the way. Trash character. All he talked about was my son, my son, my son. That was 80% of his lines. And I don't even remember his son's name. So, next question, since we're speaking of pretending to be Jacob and the smoke monster, what is that brother's name? I've been calling that man the smoke monster, Smokey, twin number 2. Like, what is his name? He may have actually been twin number 1. I can't remember. But I tried to Google it. I watched, obviously, all of the seasons listening for this man's name. I think in season 6 is when we kind of get more of a deep dive into him. And I was low-key, I was kind of sympathetic for him. Like, yeah, he was trapped there. But, hello? Do you have a name? What do people call you? That was really weird that they would never refer to him by a name. And then he died. And then he was human. Obviously, he died. He was buried there with his mother in the cave, which they eventually found. But then now he's not human because now he's a smoke monster. What is his name? And how did you and your brother Jacob become immortal? We see their fake mother, which obviously she raised them, so I'll just call them their mother. We see their mother there before their bio mother was there. I don't know how long she was there. That's probably a question on this list. I don't know how she was immortal herself, or if she was. Maybe she was just a human that landed there, but she was the first protector of the island. Questions. I don't know. And then she tells them, you'll never know what dead is. I made it to where you won't know. That's not a direct quote, but it's close enough. How? How did you make it to where they won't die? And I think at one point, they kind of allude to the fact that you can only kill the other one with like a certain knife, like this dagger looking thing, and that they can't directly kill their brother. Because once Smokey came back in the form of John Locke, he got Benjamin Linus to do it. Because in my head, he couldn't do it himself. Maybe I just assumed that, but he got Ben to do it instead. But then, you can kill your brother because Jacob killed him by pushing him into that water that went down into where the source was, which, what is the source? Pushed him down into where the source was. He was unconscious, and then we fell down that cliff, so he died. Once he eventually found his body, he buried him. So Jacob can kill his brother, and Jacob can get off the island. You know, now that I'm thinking about this, let's get comfy. Now that I'm thinking about this, Jacob left the island multiple times. His brother couldn't leave not once. Why was that? Now, was that because he had died? Because once Jacob killed him, he turned into the monster. So, obviously, if you're dead, you can't leave the island. But why couldn't he leave before? But yeah, why couldn't he leave before? Because Jacob left multiple times. Richard left a few times, I'm assuming. I only remember twice, but he was probably hopping on and off that island. Benjamin Linus and his people, they were leaving constantly. Now, I do have a question, because there was the sub, obviously, but then there was that moment where Ben was turning the wheel, which this part makes no sense if you have never seen the show. I'm assuming you've seen the show. Ben was turning that wheel to move the island, and then he appeared on the main island after that flash. How? how did he appear on the mainland with just moving the island? And why was Smokey trapped there? I know it was his adopto mom who told him that, but could he have always left the island and she was just telling him that? She was just a liar. Obviously, she was a liar. She killed their bio mom. She's a murderer. But I'm trying to think. Well, as I'm talking, I'm trying to remember it. I'm thinking maybe that was just a lie. He probably could have left the whole time, and then at one point he died. And if you're dead, you can't leave. That's my explanation. Is it true? Somebody tell me. Is it true? Okay. Question 15, 16 or so. What is the source? That light. What is that? Next question. Why? I have nothing to say about that one. I just don't know. Why was the Oracle lady, and I don't remember her name. I'm not looking it up. She was the scientist guy's mom, who was the son of Charles Whitmore, and she was kind of helping Desmond along the way in the beginning and then later on in the end in season 6. Why was she so knowledgeable? Now, was it because she had been on the island before when she was younger, her and Charles? Or did she just know something that no one else knew? She knew a lot of stuff, and she was very knowledgeable on getting Desmond onto the right path. I don't know how she knew any of that, because presumably, if she knew because she was previously on the island, then also Charles Whitmore knew. And Charles was playing dumb, like he didn't know anything. I don't know. If the island can heal, which we know it does because it healed Rose's cancer, it healed John Locke's paralysis, the island can heal. Why does the island also kill all of the pregnant women? I believe Juliet said that it was within the second trimester, correct me if I'm wrong, or don't, because I don't take criticism well, that they were dying. The pregnant women were dying. Why? Something with the electromagnetism or whatever of, I think, the source in general. But how does that make sense? You can heal one thing and you're very selective with what you heal, because John was getting healed left, right, and center. But other people were just dying from their injuries. Now, was it because he was a candidate? That may be it. But nevertheless, so why do some people become whispers? Some people get healed. Some people will get killed if you're pregnant. What's up with that, Island? What's up with that, Jacob? What were all those symbols on the hatch? Now, you'll remember, the hatch is where Desmond had to push that button every 108. I think 108 minutes. Couldn't be seconds. That'd be weird. 108 minutes, push a button, and it would prevent something. I'm drawing a blank. But then, at one point, Locke decided, I'm not pushing that dang button. Some symbols came up, like Egyptian red symbols all came up. Was that Dharma initiative just kind of messing with the people? I don't remember. But I think in that same episode, John found the wall. It was like a concrete wall that came down with all of these formulas, is the only way I can think of it. All these formulas and inscriptions on it, and it looked like kind of a map or some type of sciencey stuff. And it was there and showed up in like the black light or something. I may be mixing memories, but what was that? What the heck was that? Because that never got explained. Next question. Who made the rule that the smoke monster can't directly harm or kill a candidate? Now, was that just Jack being Jack and acting like a know-it-all because he was a know-it-all? Or was that an actual rule? Because if he wanted them dead and he wanted off the island or to kill the island or whatever the case was, he could have just killed them all in their sleep, killed them all when they landed, killed them all in multiple situations when he was pretending to be Jacob and Christian Shepherd. When he was pretending to be him, he could have just took them all out. Why did they have to kill each other? Whose rule was that? I never heard their mother say that. I only heard Jack theorize it, but I don't even know if that was true because I had a disdain for Jack. It's out there. I hated Jack, hated Kate even more, and I would listen to maybe half of the stuff they said. So if he explained it, admittedly, I probably did not listen. Oh well. Speaking of Kate, why? Just that, period. Why? Why Kate? Why was Kate... I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this, but who cares? Why was Kate such a horrible character? Why did Kate get to be in the finale over Saeed, Sun, Jen? And by finale, I don't mean just those final seconds, because everybody was in that, the final minutes, but like she was in that final whole episode. It was a 2.5 hour or 2 hour episode. Why? Why was she in that? Why was her whole 6th season an obsession with Kate? Not with Kate, what? Why was her final season an obsession with Claire? When, according to my memory, she had maybe 2 to 3, I'm being generous, solo scenes with Claire. I don't remember them having a storyline at all. But yet you're raising this kid, Aaron, her kid, and now your whole final 18 plus episodes are about how much you love Claire and about how much you want to save Claire and bring Claire back to Aaron, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know that you knew who Claire was, besides that one time, which is the only scene I can think of, that they were alone. Now, mind you, this is an ensemble cast. Everyone is always with everyone. But specifically where she had a storyline with Claire. Only time I can think is when she obviously delivered Claire's baby in the woods. And then when Russo came back, Russo was trying to take the baby and give it as like a sacrifice, and Kate was yelling at Russo about something. That's 2 scenes. That's only 2 scenes, and yet your whole, I'm going to say 25 episodes, your whole last 25 episodes have been obsessed with this woman. Claire's not thinking about you. Claire doesn't even probably remember who you are. Meanwhile, you're all up her butt. You have no character, Kate. This is a Kate bash page. Kate has no character. Kate had no arc? What? Kate had no character. Kate had no character arc. Kate was bland, and I'm guessing that's why she made it to the finale, because Saeed, full growth moment from his beginning to his end, full growth, and to go out in such a selfless way, peak. I was sad that he died, obviously, but now we know that they were all dead, so it doesn't make sense. Jen and Sun, full growth moment. I understand it. Kate, you have nothing. Kate, you did nothing except for get on my nerves. And you're in the finale. A big chunk of the finale, too. Another one of my questions here is, why did they bug us so much with this Kate and Jack romance in the ending? We got a lot more characters to get through, and you spent a long time, writers, J.J. Abrams and other writers and creators, you spent a long time in this finale, last ending portions about Jack and Kate. Name 2 people I care less about. You can't, because it's Jack and Kate. I may cut this down because that turned into a bit of a rant, but that's how I feel. So let's see. What caused the Benjamin Linus, one of the other best characters, what caused the Benjamin Linus and Charles Whitmore beef? Now, was that just because Charles knew, obviously, of the island in the beginning? Charles also knew Benjamin when he was a child because he was brought to him. After he got shot and became kind of one of them. And then I'm guessing something happened. Maybe they got into a fight. I don't know. And then Charles obviously was trying to come back to the island. But he hired a group of mercenaries to come after him. And did he give them permission to kill Alex, Benjamin's daughter, Alex? Or were they just going rogue? Because I don't understand what their qualms with each other are, besides I want to get to the island and I'm trying to hide the island. And then daughters got involved. Alex also died brutally. That was wild. That was a wild scene. I think I cried. But then at the end, we're all in the church. This is the final scenes of the show. We're all in the church. It's everyone from the main cast who was on the plane, who obviously we can assume died. Penny's there. When did Penny die? What? Was she just there because Desmond was there? Was that an oversight? When would she have died? When would she have died? I'm really racking my brain right now. When would Penny Whitmore have died? She was on the plane, and Charlie was talking to her. She was on a boat so far away because it wasn't Penny's boat. In the alternate reality, she didn't even know Desmond. She was an estranged daughter of Charles. When Desmond had his flashes back and forth between one reality and the next, when he was on the freighter, they weren't together because he abandoned her or whatever. But then she was just doing her own thing, and then he would flash back in and call her. When would she have died? This is going to take up a lot of space in my brain until I find the answer. I think that was just a mistake on the writer's part, putting her in that room, because there's no way. I can't even think of a time she would have died. I'm gonna go to Reddit maybe after this. Okay. These next couple are probably just a little bit petty questions, but I had them, so I wrote them down. Speaking of the worst character, Kate. How did Kate fit into every outfit that was ever offered to her? Every single outfit. Anytime someone offered her some clothes, when it was the others, when she was trapped in the cage, when it was Desmond giving her a black dress, we just know her size and it fits like a glove. Maybe that's just me being jealous, I don't know. Why did Lupitus, which I forget his first name, but he was the pilot, why did Lupitus turn into so much more of an important, needed, and liked character over Kate? Kate, I've known you since episode 1, season 1, and I like Lupitus better than you. Why is that? This one confused the mess out of me. Where did that food drop come from? You remember, I'm going to say season 3 maybe. There was a giant food drop, and they started creating a pantry and a food system and stuff. Who gave them all that food? Was that Jacob? If so, where did you get all that food, Jacob? I know it was Dharma food, but why would the others be feeding them when they were also attacking them and trying to kill them on multiple occasions? I know it wasn't Charles because he obviously didn't know how to get to the island then. Who dropped all that food? And why? How? This is a how question. How did that dang dog outlive everybody? I forget his name. I think it was Winston or something. Winston the dog. He was there. He was a main character. Anytime something happened, there's Winston coming through. How, sir? Did you, as a dog, did you know, talking to the dog now, did you know that you were going through the decades as life was happening to you? What were you eating? What were you drinking? I know there's water there, so you're probably drinking from the stream. How did you survive all that? Good on you, Winston. Proud of you. Another question. This may be another petty question. Why did Jack Shephard have such a stick up his butt about John Locke the entire show? He hated Locke. From, I'm thinking, their first interaction, too. Like, later on, it became a destiny versus a free will type debate with him. But he hated Locke to a disturbing degree. And I loved Locke, so of course I'm Team Locke. But I don't understand why there was so much hate there. I know that's obviously not like a question someone could probably answer, besides they just didn't like each other, but I'd like to know. 2 final questions. Did we ever get an explanation, or why didn't we get an explanation to what was up with Libby? She was in the institution with Hurley. We saw that. And then she got better, presumably, and then went to Australia. Did she become a doctor, or was she just lying about that because she had been in institutions for so long she could fake it? Because I've worked in institutions, and some of those people, they've just hopped around from place to place or institution to institution, that they do become just as knowledgeable as the staff. So was that the case? Were you actually a doctor? Were you just a liar, Libby? And we never saw her backstory besides the institution part. We saw everyone else's backstory, at least an episode, if not half an episode on it. I don't know anything about Libby. I don't know anything about Libby. And then, I guess my final question, besides the little stuff that I just don't think there's an answer to, how did that statue get there? Y'all remember that statue? Because eventually it was where Richard, Benjamin, Smokey, pretending to be Locke, went in and killed Jacob. But there was only half of it there at that point. But then we saw a different scene with Jacob and his brother, and it was a full statue. Did they build that statue of themselves? Where was it their original mother's tribe of people who built that at first? Like the natives, the hostiles, I think that they were called at one point by the Dharma. Who built that statue? Who was that statue of? Why did they put it there? Yeah. Now, I think that's all my questions. I think that's all my rant. If you made it this far, then really commend you. I really appreciate you watching this long into this nonsense, me just rambling about a show. If you watched all this and you have not seen Lost, then you are a sucker for like spoiler alerts, and you should actually go watch the show. It's one of the best written shows on television, best written shows to come out, and you'll really enjoy it. My questions probably confused you. For everyone else who has seen the show, please either send me the episode that these questions were answered, or just send me the answer or the link, something. I'm going crazy over here. Again, like this video if you like this video, or if you just want to see me ask more questions about things. Turn on that notification bell so you can know when I upload the next video and what I actually upload. Make sure to subscribe because it really helps the channel, and share it with someone who you think may know the answer. I'm gonna go and be a little bit more confused and then enjoy my day. And then be a little bit more confused. It stays on my mind, guys. I don't know what I'm gonna do until I get at least half of these answered. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.